Hello, this is Monroe Hodder. I'm an artist, I live in Manhattan, and my studio is in Long Island City. Today I'd like to take you to my studio to show you my process when I paint. Welcome to my studio. Here is a completed painting called The Life of Mars. I'd like to talk to you about my current work, and then secondly, I'd like to take you back through the layers that I use to complete a painting. The painting before you is called Life on Mars. As you see, it's centered on a star shape. The many layers of paint are intended to both enhance and subvert the image. As I work, various geometries are disrupted by random acts of pouring and splashing paint and many other marks. In this painting, Life on Mars, the patterns of triangles are both linked together and are pulled apart. These disruptive tensions operate across the surface of the painting and also move through earlier layers back into depth. The finished painting creates a balance between coherence and fragmentation. Each painting begins with a flat field of color overlaid with a grid and diagonals. Then I add thin veils or clouds of color that create atmosphere and soften the geometry. In the next layer, I begin to add imagery. Here you can see I started to paint birch trees. When I lived in Russia in the 90s, birch trees were the focus of my painting. They were a spiritual symbol for many Russian artists. Sometimes the painting becomes very complex. Here I painted the background, and then I worked on a scene of the street in Arles, The Yellow House by Van Gogh. I didn't feel entirely satisfied with it, so you can see a little bit of it here, but I've pretty much painted over it. And now I'm going to draw a large house that's going to be here and go back. And this house will be the primary image under the final layers of paint. I've added fluttering zigzags and bright squares of color here to make the final layer of the painting. There is also a pale yellow diagonal that moves across the image. At the top of the painting, you see blue and white stripes and what looks like upside-down teacups. This is a remnant of a Bonnard painting where a woman is standing beside a carefully set table in front of an open window. It may not be quite the right thing, but I've started out. See, I've got this geometric shape here, that it's a spiral shape going along, and I'm going to just kind of obliterate this. And now it's getting over. But what I'm going to do is white out this bit that's here. And how much I want to wipe it out. And I have to step back and look, see what I've done. I want a little more. I want the bottom part of it to be white. Well, I'm pretty pleased with the way this pour turned out. I like the way it looks. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll be ready for the next layer. It's really in blue French. It's a little bit darker than that blue in there. And now, what I want is for the colors to kind of dissolve into pure blue. Pure blue and white, okay? I've got this on the... Start right here. Quite right. Up, go down, up. That's going to be about right. We have to touch that up just a little bit. But I think that's pretty much exactly what I want. This painting began with a dark red field and an overlay of geometry. I then added chunks of color that together formed a large spiral shape. The pour of yellow and white paint made a strong diagonal that cut across the spiral. Finally, the pattern of zigzag marks introduced a new color system that moves at the top into blues. Now you will see the series of paintings that I've been working on over the past several years. I'd like to conclude with a selection from the poetry of Wallace Stevens, found in one of his letters. Out of what one sees and hears, and out of what one feels, who could have thought to make so many selves, so many sensuous worlds, as if the air, the midday air, was swarming with the metaphysical changes that occur merely and living as and where we live.